E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live, also on Amazon Fire TV, and to Twitch. Also, Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. It's Wednesday, and we are continuing, Jim, with our week Skills for Teens.
Yes, ma'am, we are. And today we're going to be covering some things about how to land a job and how to fill out stuff and all that, because just like whenever they graduate from college, they don't teach them how to fill out or balance a checkbook. They don't teach them how to fill out an application or how to present themselves for a job interview. A lot of kids just think all you do is just send out resumes, say this, say that, send it in there, and what makes you stand out from the other stack of resumes?
Right. And we're going to be covering some tips on in-person interviews.
Yes, we will.
Huge.
Before we get into that, we got some national holidays today, you might say. Today is the World Meteorological Day. I guess I can say that. Did I mispronounce that correctly?
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. In other words, it's the world day that we recognize meteorites and all those good things. But how about this one here? Everybody could appreciate this day. This is the day that we recognize the near miss day. How many near misses have we had in our life?
I've had more near misses than I care to count.
Oh man, I tell you, you bet. I mean, I'm convinced the near misses in my life was just the good Lord's way of saying, bless his heart, he's dumber than a box of rocks. I better help that boy.
There's some truth to that, Jim. When we're, super young and invincible, right? Because nothing, when we're in our teens and our real early 20s. I mean, we are invincible. There's nothing that can get us. And we are going to take the world by storm, and we're going to do it in about 5 years.
Oh, I remember we graduated, my graduating class at Shelby High School there in North Carolina in 1967. We were going to set the world on fire, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm glad we didn't.
And the near misses, well, I think it's God's way of saying, good Lord, they're young and dumb. Let's help them.
Yeah, you bet. We can all appreciate the near misses and be very grateful for the near misses in life, because my goodness gracious, I weren't so lucky on that one there, but I was too. I just, had a nasty cut and no bone damage or didn't break any bones or any nerve damage. So yeah, that was a blessing in disguise. Could have been a lot worse. Today, Donna, National Tamale Day.
Okay. I'm ready.
You ready? Okay, what time's supper time then, if you're going to serve some tamales today, huh?
Well, I didn't say I was making them.
Oh, okay. Well, I was wishful thinking.
Well, I'm thinking your wife's a little better at that than I am.
Yeah. I guess that's one of those near misses, But, it's amazing how I get a kick out of these national days. And originally, I was talking to, our good friend Emerson Brantley at web3direct.com, web3direct.com. And Emerson says, you know how Mother's Day got started, don't you? And I says, Mothers having kids? And he says, no. He says it was a card company wanting to sell more cards. And he says, and in fact, you'll see the real motivating force behind, excuse me, behind a lot of these national days is the people who are either making the products or promoting the products or selling the products. So
Right.
more you people out there making and selling tamales, I'm glad that you got a national day because I could eat tamales every day. I really
And,
could.
and I'll tell you what, Jim and I wouldn't mind a few samples.
You know what? That's right. And you know what? If you can't bring the food, send it. And Donna and I will wash the dishes and we'll send them back.
Well, Jim's going to wash dishes.
Hey, I would too. I do wash dishes, you know. And guess what today is, Donna? Oh my goodness gracious. You're going to like this one here. National Puppy Day.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love puppies.
Mm. I'll tell you right now, every time you see a puppy, me and Ed were in a pet store and we saw this little, the difference between a designer dog and a mutt? About 800 bucks.
Or
and,
more.
and I mean that in a nice way. But this little dog was what was called a Pomsky, Pomsky. They take a male Pomeranian and they breed it with a female husky.
I've seen
And
those.
oh, we were there and we saw one, and I'm looking at it, and Evelyn says, "Come on, Jim, I got to get you out here. Otherwise, we're going to leave here with the puppy and about $900 upside down. We'll leave her in the hole because they were the cutest. I mean, just like a little toy stuffed animal. You'd wind up, Oh, just
Yeah, they'll
he,
wind up all right.
oh yeah. But just Google or do an search engine search for a Pomsky, Pomsky. Look on the images and you'll see what I mean. They are cute.
Yeah, they're
Mm.
adorable.
Oh,
They're adorable.
you can't help but love them. You just can't. They're just as cute as they can be. And so today is National Puppy Day. And all right, how about National Chip and Dip Day?
You know what? When the rare occasion that I do chip and dip, I like
Hmm,
green onion dip. It's like my favorite. Mama used to make
really?
it when I was a kid,
Mm.
and I absolutely adore it. And Edgy knows that he needs to have his own dip because mine will be gone in about 3 seconds.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't believe in a light dip load, if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that that chip has got plenty of dip on it.
Yeah. Yeah, she wants the heavy duty chips for that one there with the extra scoop on it. Yeah,
Right?
I remember one time I was at a friend's house and his wife made bean dip, but it just wasn't bean dip. She put other things in there. Oh my goodness gracious. I mean, I just couldn't get enough of that stuff. I mean, it was just plumb delicious. Mm, mm.
One of my
So,
favorites is when I make guacamole.
mhm. Elle makes a good guacamole, and she makes several different types of dips. I don't even know what you call them. They're just good.
Right?
They're just good. Oh my goodness. I mean, you bite your finger with the chip, you lick your finger in the whole 9 yards. You don't cheat yourself anywhere.
Right?
But Donna, today is also Melba Toast Day.
Oh my.
Yeah, can you believe that? Today's Melba Toast Day. Mm.
Okay, that's a blast from the past.
Yeah, yeah. I never really, it was okay, but I never was, I wouldn't walk around the aisle out of my way to get Melba Toast. I'll say that.
Well, I remember getting that for my kids when they were teething.
Mm, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
Mhm.
sure would be. Yeah, it sure would be.
That's a trip down memory lane.
Oh, yeah, it really is. And like we said, when we opened up, a lot of times, well, I very, very, if it happens, it's very seldom for a kid to come out of college with a degree. And the only thing they know about applying for a job is just filling out applications and putting out their degrees and sending it in. And how do they stand out above the rest, Or
Right.
can they stand out above the rest? What do you
That's
think about
important.
that? Yeah, it really is. And the answer to that is yes, you can. One of the first things that I tell young people that if they're looking for a job from a specific company, when you go in for the interview, I think, and I could be wrong, but I think if I was conducting that interview, I'd want that young person to sit there and say, okay, Mr. Grant, I'd like to, the reason why I chose this company is, and then tell me about what the company's about. Tell me a
I
little
was
bit of the
just going to
history.
say that. Exactly. Do your homework, do your
Yes.
research, because that shows that you are on the ball, that
Hmm.
you are interested, and that you took the time to research about the whole company, not just the position.
Right. That's critical. And so this is the company I selected to apply for a job. That tells the interviewer a lot about you. It
And
really does.
then give them your reasons.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, your approach to expansion and what it is you do
Hmm.
is absolutely second to none.
Hmm.
I love the way that the employees get promoted from within, whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
and how that is applicable to your morals is
Mm.
huge.
It really is. And it's so important for the person that's interviewing the young person or anybody for that age, just just for them to share, why they want to work there, and most important, how they can be an asset to the company.
Absolutely.
And that, in other words, you're talking to them. And there's one thing that you never, 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 ever ask until after the job is offered and it's closing, and that is, well, what does the job pay? I mean, I've had people ask me that within the first, well, about the third or fourth question,
Right.
you know, and well, what does it pay? Because that's a red flag. That's saying if we pay $10 an hour, you go to work for us. If you see somebody else paying $11 an hour, you're going to go over there
Right.
because you're money oriented. You're
Right.
not you're not a team player. And companies are not going to waste their time because look at it from their point of view. They've got to take time. They got to have an employee there, either the owner, manager, or somebody or a specialist to train you.
Hmm.
And that costs money.
Yes, it does.
And so if you're just there asking, well, what's the job pay? What'd you put in here for? Well, you guys pay more than anybody else. Next, this
Right.
interview's over right there. But
Right.
that
And
actually that happens, believe it or
it does.
not.
It does. And the applications are they're pretty standard.
Hmm.
There's going to be maybe a couple areas if they say, why did you select this? Uh, why did you select us? That's where you can elaborate
Hmm.
on your personal reasons and that
Yeah.
it's a good fit for you and you love what they do.
Hmm.
But your resume needs to be short and concise.
Yes.
Now, I remember back in the day, Jim, I know you do too, when, when dadgum resumes were about 2.5 pages long, typed.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Some moron did that, and all the other morons, including me, followed that lead.
Right. Yeah, so nowadays they're short and concise, but
Yes.
let's
Yes.
let's jump into first impressions.
Okay.
Okay? So when you go in for an interview, of course you're probably going to be nervous, and that
Oh
is
yeah.
absolutely normal.
Hmm.
Take a big deep breath.
Hmm.
One of the most important things, and I can't emphasize this enough, unfortunately, with modern technology, a lot of our young generation um, have lost contact, interaction contact,
Communication skills.
right? And so, you want to look them straight in the eye.
Hmm.
You want to thank them. You want to shake their hand, and it needs to be firm, not
Hmm.
bone crushing, but firm,
Hmm.
right? Whether it's male or female, offer
Hmm.
your hand.
Hmm.
And smile. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I can't emphasize that enough. Nobody wants to interview somebody that's like this.
Please say something, Donna.
So
Yeah.
smile. A smile will break the tension.
Mhm.
It lets the interviewer, the
Mhm.
person you're wanting to get the job from, know that you are open and that
Mhm.
you are welcoming and receiving, because nobody wants to hire somebody who is not a team player.
That's exactly right, because uh, make sure when you get ready to go to that interview that you know where you're going. And
Hmm.
always, I don't care if you got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Arrive early.
and yeah, exactly. Arrive early. That way, you don't put that additional stress on you. Oh, I'm supposed to be there in 2 minutes and I'm about 5 minutes away and all that stuff. That is immature. That is nonsense. And if you might as well just stay home.
I was going to say that's a job killer,
Yes, yes,
because if you are late, unless it's for a reason like
yeah,
somebody, you got in an accident or something like that,
right.
as an employer, I if you're late for an interview, you're going to be late for everything.
Amen.
Real simple. Real
Because right
simple.
out of the gate, you're saying this is my standard. You said
Right?
10. You said 10 o'clock. I show up at 10:05.
And you accept it. Now here's
Yeah.
something else as far as body language.
Oh.
Do not cross your arms. Don't slouch. You don't want to sit ramrod straight, right? But you want to be comfortable. If
Mhm.
you're nervous, and if you are one of those, or your child has tendency to um, twitch their foot,
Mhm.
that's a big no no.
Yeah.
So instead, put one foot on the floor, cross your legs,
Mhm.
and press your toes into the bottom of your shoe.
Mhm.
And that will help you not fiddle your foot.
Right. Here's a couple of things when you're saying that. Uh, you probably, if you folks that watch the show, you see me do this a lot when Donna's talking. I tilt my head, and I just do that naturally. And what kind of a body language am I sharing with Donna when I
That
do
you're
that?
interested.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes, and don't be phony about it. I mean,
Right. Don't be
if
like,
the person that's interviewing you and you kind of like tilt and, or better yet, maybe lean forward a little
lean
bit.
forward,
That
lean
says that
forward.
that's a strong message. Says, hey, I'm interested in what you have to say because I'm sincere. I want this job.
Hmm.
I will show up on time, if not early. I will make sure I'm a team player. I'm going to bring everything I got to the party because I want to be a productive part of this company.
Yep.
And that's very important. And also, too, this past Monday, I was on, you were on Sunday, I think. I was on Monday on the
Correct.
international show, and they wanted me to give tips on public speaking. And I started out and I says, I said, you ever heard of the word glossophobia? And I got a couple of strange looks, I guess. But anyway, but really, glossophobia is the fear of public speaking. And you might be sitting there saying, well, what does that have to do with anything we're talking about? Just hang
Everything.
on. Yes. Glosso is the original Greek word for the tongue. And a phobia, we know that's the fear of public speaking. I told them on this show, and I teach speakers this. When you're in front of a crowd and you're nervous, okay, perfectly normal, perfectly natural, perfectly okay, but you're still in charge.
Right.
Number one, take a deep breath and relax. And then, with the power of the pause, you can actually pronounce some of the phrases that it's important phonetically.
Hmm.
For example, on the way over here today, I didn't know they were building that new building there. And I saw the sign, oh my goodness, it's gonna be a Home Depot. Man,
Right.
that's gonna be closer to my house, or something like that. But what happens is that when you slow yourself down you become more calmer.
Right.
You also sound more sincere. Look at the person in the eye and just say, if he asks you a question you don't know, be honest. So I'm
Right.
not real sure of that, to be honest with you, because people appreciate honesty. Sometimes they'll ask you questions just to see how you're going to react. They're looking for your body language.
Right. And it may be a way out there question.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
one of the things before we jump into that, Jim, that this
Mhm.
is imperative.
Okay.
And I have taught my children this since they could pretty much walk.
Okay.
Manners never go out of what? And they all say style. I said, that's right. So when you meet with somebody, your child meets with somebody, it is imperative. I myself, as an employer, shake their hand. I want to hear their manners. And I'll tell you what,
Hmm.
say thank you. I so appreciate the opportunity to interview for this job,
Yes,
whoever it
ma'am.
is. Here's the difference. The reason I say that is because in today's society, and I think most of us have seen a huge decline on manners. I
Oh.
have always told my children, and I will say this to my dying day, that you may not be quite as qualified for the job as the person sitting next to you, but they don't have your manners. They don't have
Mm.
your body language. And that alone can be the thing that
Mm.
carries you right over.
That's right. You're exactly right. Because if you're polite and you're kind, you're thankful and all that, having a pleasing personality.
Right.
I mean, there's some people out there that's very well educated, very well talented, and they're sticks in the mud when it comes to personality.
Right.
And, everybody wants to be around somebody that's pleasant, especially in the workplace,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Goodness, a pleasing personality that tears down a lot of mental barriers right there.
It really does. It
And
really does.
yeah, because
And don't be surprised if a potential employer says, I remember this. And when I was young, it terrified me. So tell me about yourself, Donna.
yeah, Don, I've been wanting to ask you that myself. Tell us about.
And what they want to know is not necessarily your qualifications for the job. They have that in front of them.
Yeah.
So understand when somebody asks you that, they want to know what your interests are.
Mhm.
Are you a hermit? What do you like to do? You know, uh, do you volunteer? That is huge.
Mm.
Employers love to hear when a potential employee gives of themselves and volunteers, because that alone tells them they go the extra mile.
Yeah, that's a person that cares. If they care about others, they're going to care about their job.
That's right.
Hmm. That's a great point, Donna. Enjoy your coffee while I talk for a couple hours.
But actually, this is peach tea.
Peach tea, huh? Hmm.
Yeah, my hubby gave it to me for Christmas. It's so
Oh,
good.
okay. It's still warm. Oh my goodness gracious. We have so much fun here. She's going to snort in a minute.
No, I had a full mouth of tea. That was mean. That was mean.
Oh, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to do it like that. But one of the things too,
Yeah, you
this
did.
is something that young people have lost, and we've lost to some degree too, and that is our writing skills.
Well,
So,
okay. That is that lights my fire right there, because we teach about a half a second of cursive writing
mhm,
in elementary school.
mhm.
I mean, we're getting to the point on that where it could be a code,
Yeah.
right? It could be code. And it's a shame. But as a parent, I believe it is our duty to work with our children
Mhm.
and let them understand, you're going to be writing your whole life. It does not matter that we are
Mm-mm.
in such a revolutionary age of computers and everything
Electronic
at our
world.
fingertips. You still have to write. So make
Mhm.
it legible for the other person, right?
Mhm.
We've talked about it on the show, Jim. I'm old
Yes, we
school.
have.
So are you. I don't do notes on my computer.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
want my handwritten note.
hmm Exactly. And like all my passwords and stuff like that, I don't keep my computer
Right.
in the case it crashes or in the event that it gets hacked or whatever. Because, and I'm going to talk a minute about getting hacked. Last Friday, some knucklehead banned our TV show on Facebook. And then they pretended to be Facebook.
Yep.
And there was actually a whole bunch of other people on that same notice.
Probably 40 of
30
them,
or, yeah,
30, 40.
yeah, 30, 40. And a lot of them were TV shows like us.
Mm-hmm.
And it says the thing said something to the effect of the decision's been final. This
Yeah,
page has
it
been
can't be
blocked.
reversed. It
It
can't be
can't be
reversed.
it can't be reversed. You violated this, you violated that. That's the second time. First time was whenever some group of knuckleheads proclaimed that Donna and I stole some of their proprietary
Content.
content on our show. And I'll say this much for Facebook. In both the instances, as soon as I filled out an appeal, it was removed immediately.
Yep.
But let me get back to the one that was on there Friday. These people are slick. These people are crooked. These people are they're trash. So if you're the people watching this show and you're the ones that did it, make no mistake about it, you are a trashy, good for nothing individual. Okay. And I will not take that back. I promise you that I will not take that back. They had to respond to them, click here. Then they wanted what? My username and my password for Facebook.
Right. It's the only way it could be reversed.
Only way they'd be considered to be reversed.
Right.
Mighty Christian of them, right? And I tell you right now, really, stuff like that really burns me when you're dealing with people like that because we all have to deal with that stuff.
Yep.
And even individuals on Facebook, they get their identity stolen and all that. And it's something we all have to deal with. But the thing of it is that I think we're all mature enough and knowledgeable enough to know if we get something idiotic from a friend that doesn't sound like it's from them, chances are we know it's not from them. Their account's been hacked.
Right.
But anyway, just in case any of you saw that before, Donna brought it to my attention and we got it fixed. That's what happened. And they listed them. And down there was like 40 different companies. I mean,
Oh yeah.
they
There
had
was
a
a boatload
boutiques.
of them.
They had boutiques on there. They had other TV shows on there. I mean, they just, they did, they herded up everybody, didn't they?
Right.
Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, we were talking about writing and all those good things.
Mm-hmm.
Because you fill out an application, chances are you're going to do it in handwriting.
Well, a lot of them are online anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's true.
you don't
Some places
know.
not.
Right. And here's the thing. You don't know what
Mhm.
that interviewer is going to be asking of you.
Mhm.
They might want you to take a little written test. You just
Oh, yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
So it would be advantageous of your child
Mhm.
to learn to write well and
Mhm.
using correct punctuation. And here's something else. Jim, it is so important not only check out the company that
Mhm.
you're applying for, but go onto LinkedIn and look at the person who is going to be doing the interview.
That's a good one, Donna. Thank you for bringing that up. That's real good. Because then if you have something in common, like you both like fishing or whatever,
Boom.
and you can don't say I checked out your LinkedIn page. I saw you like fishing, but what you can say in my spare time, I like to go fishing. Now it's got to be truthful,
Right.
know. I mean, if they go skydiving or go climb Mount Everest, don't sit there and say, "Yeah, last summer me and my uncle we climbed Mount Everest." I mean, that'd be ridiculous. But I mean, it's
Right.
got to be genuine. But that's a great point to go on LinkedIn and check out the person there and at least get familiar with who's going to be interviewing you. It's kind of nice to know what they look like too.
Right. So, and one of the things that depending on what level, entry level you're going into, whether it's an entry
Mhm.
level or higher, you may be overqualified.
Yes, that happens.
And so you have to be prepared to combat that and turn that as an advantage.
Hmm.
So if you have an employer, for example, says, well, Donna, you certainly have the qualifications. As a matter of fact, you're a little overqualified.
Overqualified.
And there's a real easy response to that. So I don't see that, Jim, as a
Hmm.
disadvantage. I see that as an advantage for you and your company
Hmm.
because I have the qualifications. I can actually do the job
Hmm.
with less training than maybe somebody else.
Hmm.
I am so impressed with you and your company. And even though I am overqualified, I feel that I would be a great benefit to your team.
Hmm. And
Boom.
also, too, since I'm a team player, in the event of an absence of someone, and I'm able to fill in for them, I'd be willing to do that.
Right.
That's a huge plus too.
Hmm.
You could
Hmm.
also say, I also want to gain more experience.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
that's a good one. That's a
I
good
want
one
to
too.
learn and I want to grow
Oh
with this
yeah,
company because of what the foundation of this company is.
yeah.
And it aligns with my core values.
Hmm.
Now, what's
Yes.
somebody going to do? Say, oh, well, that just doesn't work for me. They're
Yeah.
going to want
Exactly.
somebody like that.
Hmm. Answer the questions the way that they would. They're searching for answers. They're searching for the right person. That's why they asked you questions. That's why they look at your body language. That's why they look at the way you dress. Also, dress appropriately for the
Oh, my
job.
goodness.
That's huge.
It is. I mean, anymore, I mean, back in our day, you dressed to the nines for
Hmm.
an interview.
Hmm.
And we're not quite that formal for most jobs,
Hmm.
but it is important to have proper business attire.
Yes. Yes.
Okay? That doesn't mean your good pair of jeans.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
you can wear, if you're a male, a nice button down shirt.
Hmm.
Um, if you wear a jacket, that's fine.
Hmm.
Usually a belt is encouraged.
Hmm.
Um, and women, wear nice pants, nice dress, nice skirt.
Yeah.
But it is important because that is something that when you have to look at it from the employer's side, you are now potentially representing the company.
Yes, you are.
And
And I don't.
wait, excuse me, you only have less than 10 seconds to impress somebody the first time on whether or not they deem subconsciously whether
Hmm.
you are appropriate or not, and they will scale you.
Hmm. And whether you're male or female, do not wear a tank top.
Right.
Now, if you are applying for a blue collar job and you show up in Levi's and a nice shirt and either tennis shoes or boots, that's appropriate.
Right.
But if you're applying for a job that's white collar, not blue collar, don't show up in jeans and tennis shoes,
Right.
as Donna mentioned there, because that's a no go. Because what you're saying there, you're telling the interviewer, I don't have enough respect for you or this job to dress appropriately. Because if I show up for an interview like this, he's going to say that's the same way, or she's going to say that's the same way they're going to show up on the job.
Right.
They're certainly not going to show up dressed up. They didn't come dressed up for the interview. You
Right. And Jim, a lot of
know.
employers will ask the person they're interviewing,
Mhm.
what questions do you have for me?
Oh yeah, they sure will. They always ask that, don't they?
Right.
Hmm.
So, make it pertinent. That's where doing your homework on the company and doing a little deep dive digging is really important.
Yes, ma'am.
You can, I mean, the sky's the limit there. But, you can ask them, I mean, depending on the position you're applying for, are there within my position, are there other areas that I can learn and grow?
Yeah, one of the areas, one of the questions you may be asked of you as in it being interviewed, and this has always been a tough one for me, but I want to give you a heads up on it. What is your strengths and what is your weaknesses?
Oh,
And
that's
Donna,
important.
yeah, and Donna, you know me pretty good. Or very well. I don't really like to feel like I need to blow my own horn or something. I just don't. I mean, I share what I'm doing and stuff like that. But I mean, to say this is my strengths and this is my weaknesses, and I don't know, but you're going to be asked that. So be prepared for that question. It's coming.
Absolutely.
I'll be surprised if they don't ask you.
And if you're not sure, especially on your weaknesses, I've always found that a really good answer to that question is, I don't like wasting time.
Yeah.
That is a weakness and a strength.
Yeah.
Because when time is wasted, it is not getting the job done.
Right. Exactly.
So you can turn things how they need to be turned and think about these ahead of time. And a really good, if you're not sure, have somebody in your family or close friends, have them give you some mock interviews.
Yes, exactly. And sit down with someone that is a subject matter expert that you respect. And I'll tell you what, record your interview.
Okay,
See
that's
how
a big
you sound. I teach that a lot about when speakers going to speak. I said there's 3 P's. You prepare, you present. I mean, you plan, you prepare, and you present it. But also, you record yourself standing in your bathroom, looking in the mirror, record your voice, and see how you sound.
And I would suggest on mock interviews, have somebody else record you.
Oh, yeah.
Video record you, because we all have tells, right? We all have little body tics. I have a tendency to put my head like this. I know I do. But that's just part of me going, I'm really interested in this.
Yeah.
Right? But we have tics. And when I'm thinking, one of the things I do when I'm trying to think of something to say, and I'm sure if you've watched the show, you see me do it, I'll kind of look up, like, where's that word I want? How do I want to word this? Certain things that we need to be self-aware when we interview with somebody, and how it comes across to the other person, and then let somebody critique you.
Yes, yes. Now, I'm not a subject matter expert on body language, but I do know enough about it that if someone asks me a question, or if I'm saying something and I touch my nose, that is a signal that I'm not sure of what I'm saying, or I know that I know that I know I'm lying. Watch
Right.
politicians on TV. You think by now they'd learn to keep their hands in their pockets, as I said the other day. And again, if I tilt my head like this, like I do a lot with Donna's talking, because I'm listening to her, to follow on with the show, and I'm very interested in what she's saying. But if I'm sitting there, and sometimes I do this here too, I'm concentrating.
Right.
And these are all signs that show. But if I'm sitting there, and if she's talking, I'm like this here. What's my body language saying?
Don't care.
Don't care. I'm bored. When
I
she
want
gets
to get
done,
out of here.
yeah, when she's done talking, I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about. And, it's just be aware of your body language, because sometimes you're not aware of it. Don't slouch in a chair,
Right. Don't Don't do this. Like I said, you don't want to sit ramrod straight because most of us don't.
Yeah.
But you do want to sit up straight.
Yeah. It's so important. And when you're interviewing for the job, and say, have any questions for me? Don't say, well, how many sick days you guys offer?
Right.
I feel something coming on.
And when you by doing your homework and doing your due diligence, you will be able to find some of the questions that when they want, say you have questions for me, that you can ask them that pertain to the company and set you above the people who you are interviewing against.
Yeah. Because rest assured, there's going to be some people sitting in there and say, okay, how many days do you have allow for sickness and vacation time? And, because then those questions are all about what's in it for me. In the interview, you need to put a mirror on that, reflect that out, what's in it for the company to hire you.
Right.
Remember that. Because
Super important.
Yeah, if you answer a question, are you answering what's in it for me or what's in it for the company?
Right. And then here's another good question. Say,
Okay.
I'm here. Somebody says, what questions do you have for me? You say, well, Jim, I'm glad you asked that. That's important. Acknowledge them back. Because that lets them know you're truly listening to them. And say, I can see myself, Jim, to be very honest with you, here for long term. What are the advancements? How does that work within this company?
Yeah, for career.
For a career. Because that tells them that you're not here for, 6 months or a year, that you want to advance with the company. Are the advancement opportunities, do they come around real often, or is it a once a year thing? And how much do you hire from within?
Yes.
How much do you promote from within? Those are questions that have solid foundation that potential employers really like to hear.
Yeah. And you want another real good one? This
Lay it
here.
on me.
Okay. And we don't practice anything. Donna sits there, and I think sometimes she keeps her fingers crossed. What's Jim going to say next? No, but really, what a great question is, if you do your homework about the company and they're involved in a charity, ask them about the charity and say, I would like to get involved with that. How does that work? How often do you do things? Ask them about, because now you're saying, not only am I interested in the company, I also want to be recognized to be involved with the company. I'm a team player. I care, because people love volunteers. You ever heard anybody complain, oh, they're just a volunteer?
Right.
Not at all. You might hear him say, oh, he's a nitwit, But, you okay, Donna?
I'm good.
I mean, but, really, that's a great question to ask, because most companies love giving back.
Right.
And just say, I saw it where the company, is involved with, helping the blind or whatever,
Right.
And I'd like to get involved with that. And my uncle went blind, or had my mother started losing her eyesight as she got older. So that's why I'm interested in that, whatever it might be, but it's got to be genuine. Okay.
Right. And because when you say it like that, that hits the feels, right? That brings out the emotion.
Yep.
And so that they automatically in their mind go, wow, they get it. They really
Yes.
get it.
Yes. Because 6 months down the road, think back, anybody you've ever heard speak. Use our show as example. 2 weeks ago, you don't know what we talked about. That's okay. I don't either. But the point of it is, you remember exactly how we made you feel.
Right.
People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel.
Exactly.
And if you leave that person feeling good about you, he's going to forget what that what that guy came in or that gal came in and asked how many days sick leave they get, and oh, by the way, mm, what's your sick leave policy like here?
Right.
I mean, I'm being a little ridiculous. I know that, but I mean, there's people out there that they'll ask those questions. And when you come in there and you're asking about their charity or things that they do, maybe they get involved and raise money for something for a school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, just I'm very interested in giving back to a school, working, helping raise money. How can I get involved with that?
Right.
Because now you've already told them you're already hiring me.
Right.
Right. See, that's one of them is that one of them subliminal message?
Yeah.
What Donna
Now
said.
there's something else that's really important. And Jim, we would be remiss if we didn't mention it.
Okay.
Just as important in how you present yourself in the beginning of an interview as how you exit an interview.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be cocky. You don't want to be, know-it-all.
Mm-hmm.
But, you need to make sure that you thank them properly. And don't be cocky like, well, I look forward to working here. Because you don't know.
Right. That's exactly right.
That could just make them really mad that you were so presumptuous to think that you're already hired.
Yeah.
So your exit is super important. And what I would recommend is, saying, you put your hand out and you say, Jim, I really appreciate your time. This is an incredible company and it looks like an incredible opportunity. And I look forward to hearing from you in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah. And just let them know it's very nice meeting you. And I enjoyed the interview,
Yeah.
Yeah. Let them know that you appreciated them as a human being because everybody wants to be
for their time.
Yes. Yes.
That's important because remember, time is the one commodity, folks, that we can't get back.
Amen.
We can make more money. We can do all kinds of things, but we cannot make more time.
Isn't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
Daylight's a burning, as my dad used to say. Get out of that bed, boy.
Right.
It's so critical.
Do themselves.
Them chickens ain't gonna feed themselves.
Right.
I've heard that before, But it's really important to let them know that you're genuine and be genuine, and it's just so critical that you leave a good impression on them. Remember, they're not going to remember all the things you said, but they will remember how you made them feel. Right. If you make them mad, they won't forget that in 29 years.
Right. Right. And so some of the oddball questions, it's entirely possible. People will ask you really strange questions during an interview process just to see how you react.
Yeah, how you handle stress. Huh?
Right. So say you're going in for a customer service job that, I don't know, they sell books, whatever it is, something like that. And they say, okay, well, Jim, let me ask you a couple of questions here. First one, how many times does the Earth sun rotate around the Earth?
What the hell kind of a question's that?
And all you can say, because that's not something most of us will remember, right?
No.
And just look at them and smile and say, that's awesome. I love that question. And I really wish I could answer it right off the top of my head, but I can't. I know it rotates, but I don't know how many times.
Yeah.
I
know it takes 24 hours to come around because we have lawn furniture was sitting out there in the corner and we lost it, and 24 hours later it showed back up.
Right. But make it fun and kind of make it kind of like you're laughing at yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's so important because a lot of times they will throw a question at you there just to throw you off base, just to see how you react.
Right? Under pressure.
Yeah.
That's why they do it. They want to see how you react under pressure. So a really weird question basically is relating to, okay, what's going to happen when you're on the telephone and you get, a Karen on the phone, right?
Yeah.
Who's really nasty about everything. And that's why they ask you some of those crazy questions.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm an admin on a page with music, and since I am the admin, recognizes the main person. The guy sends me a message on Facebook. He says, "I want to know why I can't post songs on your page." And I go back and look at what he's talking about. And I says, "You're not banned or anything like that." Found out Facebook had banned him for something, and it was a mistake because his account had been hacked, but he was suffering the consequence. But see, he wanted to take it out on me or find out, thought we were the culprits. And I said, "No, we didn't do it. You haven't done anything wrong here. You're good to go." So, just relax when things happen.
Right.
Take a deep breath and relax. You can always lose control, but once you lose control, especially in a job interview, you are out of control.
Yep.
That is the main thing, and they're just wanting to make sure that they're not hiring, someone that's, too easy to rattle. It's not don't have their feet on the ground. That's
Right.
important.
They don't want a hothead. They don't want somebody who's going to sleep on
Mm.
the job. They want somebody who's there, who's going
Hmm.
to be work to their 100% potential, give
Hmm.
100% back to the company,
Hmm.
and be a blessing to everyone around them.
And you know what? It's going to take a few days for them to process everything and interview different people. How powerful would it be for you to send them either an email? I would prefer a card in the mail. Thank you again for interviewing me. I really appreciate it. Yada, yada, da.
And if I could make a suggestion, piggybacking off that, Jim.
Sure, please do.
So if you're going to interview on a Monday morning,
Okay.
okay, and based on snail mail time,
Mm.
I would already have that card in the mail on Friday.
Yeah. I was thinking about maybe 2 or 3 days later. So,
Friday or Saturday, because if you interview on a Monday morning,
mhm.
that card's still probably not going to get there until late Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, I see what you're saying beforehand. Okay. Okay.
To make
Yeah.
sure that they get it while they're still in the interviewing
Hmm.
process of
Hmm.
deciding who's going to get the job.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then it shows up on their desk because that tells them right there, you take initiative.
Yes, ma'am, it does.
You went the extra mile.
Hmm. Yeah. And yeah, because you always do the things that the others don't do. That's the
Yep.
key. That's the key. Good gracious, we're out of time, Don. I still got
I know.
29 things to discuss here.
I know. I
If
know.
you let me talk once in a while.
I know. I just don't let you get a word in edgewise.
I know it. I know it. I tell you, Donna. But being able to do this show the way that we do and provide information for folks on all levels, it really is not only a blessing for us, but it's our calling.
Absolutely is.
And when you're looking for a job, just don't take any job. Take a job that fits your calling. Because number one, you're going to enjoy it more. Number two, it's going to be easier for you to do that job.
Mhm.
And number three, you're going to go the extra mile because you love what you're doing.
Right?
You really will, regardless what it is. And that's the main thing is that to, appreciate and love your life in all aspects, including work,
Absolutely.
including work. And I guess I've always enjoyed working, even when I worked for a living or when I, of course, wearing a military uniform. I always enjoyed it. I really did. And I've known people that had the attitude, well, got to go to work. And I mean,
Right.
these people, they enjoy being miserable. Stop
Hmm.
it. you know, just stop it. Just go down to the landfill and do a mental dump and get rid of that stuff and get out of there. I
Right.
mean, really, but
Enjoy
because
what you do because it makes your life,
yeah,
it puts your life in balance,
yeah,
folks. It keeps
yeah,
the energy up,
yeah,
right? Just like
and
in an interview, you want to have great, great energy.
Mhm.
But you don't want to be super hyper because nobody wants to hire somebody who talks like this all the time. Oh my gosh, thank you. I so appreciate being here.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let me know if you run out of meds. I must keep my distance, you know. But also, too, if you do have to take a job that's not really your fitting, let's say that you prefer to love with working with animals, or animals are a good relaxation for you, volunteer
Yeah.
at the local animal shelter. And I'll tell you why. Because once you give in this life, the doors of opportunity and the energy that will come through those doors to you will bring you greater gifts in life.
Yep.
We're going to do a show on that, ladies and gentlemen, about energy, how you can open up doors in your life, how you can find your calling.
Mhm.
We'll do that within a couple, 3 weeks. Donna and I get together and we'll discuss. We'll get that planned and all, because that's so critical. So many people don't know that. I mean, when you read about, are we out of time?
We are,
Oh, we got
Jim.
about, okay, but seriously, let me put this here up. And this is a nicety to know. I do it all the time. And of course, if you're aggravated, frustrated, nauseated, and I don't know what all, you be sure and give Donna an email there at High Energy right now. She'll be glad to give you a 30-minute complimentary consultation, help you unblock your energy. It might be a person, place, or thing, or a combination of the three. But most importantly, anything that's you feel like's holding you back, give Donna send her an email. She'll be glad to give you a 30-minute complimentary consultation. And this right here, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
That is
Listen to
amazing.
this. Yeah, listen to this. As soon as you ask the universe for something, it's already yours.
Yep.
The universe cannot say no to you. That's how special you are. Once you get out of the need, you get out of the physical, get out of the fear, get out of the hate, get out of the greed, all of that stuff, shove it aside, because fear and love cannot coexist
Nope.
any more than you can have a beautiful, clear spring of water and you dump a bunch of trash in there. You can't have the trash over here and the water over there.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. The same is true with fear and love. If you don't like anything in the physical, get rid of it. Love yourself, forgive yourself, get rid of it. Let Donna help you find the answer to what's blocking your energy. And when you do that, things come through the energetic doors, I like to call it,
Hmm.
that you did not expect. Donna and I can testify to that. We can look you straight in the eye via the camera and say, this is what happened to us. And
Absolutely.
and you folks out there know me, I'm not smart enough to think of all that.
Oh,
you know,
goodness.
but
Well, we
really,
will be back tomorrow, folks.
yes, we will. And Donna promised tomorrow she's going to let me talk some. We're going to be talking about writing letters, emails, etc., and all those things. And we're going to be giving some tips on that. But also, too, as we like to close every show, we sincerely hope and pray that you and your loved ones are healthy and happy. Be sure and let love abound in your life. Be sure and love yourself enough to forgive yourself of anything that might be bothering you. Let it go.
Absolutely.
And have the grace to love yourself enough to just say, I'm sorry. I repent. I will not do it again. Then pick up the pieces and continue on. And that's a pathway to life right there, Donna. It
Yep.
really is. We'll see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye bye.